Welcome to the Daily Insider here on Vegas Insider. I am Kevin Rogers. I hope you had a very pleasant St. Patrick's Day, or we call it St. Peter's Day now, after they beat Kentucky last night. We'll talk about that coming up in just a second. Thom Cunningham will join us, talk college basketball and some Oscars. And also, we welcome back Devin Walker, who was on the show with us a few weeks ago from MTV. That's right, The Challenge. He is going to join us actually every other Friday coming up, so we're excited for that. And let's just get it going right now. Let's just forget the intros. Let's just take myself off. There we go. We're all here. We're here. There's Thom. There's Devin.
We're back,
Welcome
baby.
you.
Thanks, Kev. Happy to be here.
All right. So first things first, Mr. Devin. You're from Massachusetts. We talked last time about John Calipari, and
We did.
So what do you think? Kentucky getting tripped up by the Peacocks of St. Peter's last night in overtime.
I mean, that first of all, we do need to address the officiating. That was pretty bad. So not to take the blame off of Cal and Kentucky, who drastically underperformed. We all saw the spread on that game. It shouldn't have been close. Definitely, an easy win for Kentucky in regulation. I think everybody had that. So congratulations to St. Petersburg. They showed up. They played pretty much a perfect game. And that's what it takes in this tournament. And every season I say it, and every season it happens. I can't believe it. I can't believe my eyes, but it happened again. And I think there is, one person to blame here, and that's Cal. They didn't look great in the conference tournament, and they kept that energy. They came out flat, and they got stung.
Would you say, too, missing 12 free throws and 11 threes also contributed to that as well?
Yeah, that probably played a contributing factor. If we go down the stat sheet there, it was just an underperformance all around through every game. But, then again, it's if everything doesn't come together, this is an incredibly difficult tournament to win if you're playing really well. So I'm not surprised that a Kentucky team that underperformed got upset, but I was a little bit surprised that they came out that flat, and that there wasn't, the adjustments, the in-game adjustments that I typically, expect from a Cal coach team.
Thom?
I thought Kentucky was a little shy shooting the three ball late at the game. I think maybe because their struggles throughout the game from beyond the arc was maybe a reason why they stopped shooting the threes so much. I mean, Grady had hit a three at the end of regulation just to help that game go to overtime. I felt like they should have taken more chances beyond the arc, but I do feel because they were struggling from three most of the game, they stopped doing it late in the game. St. Peter's was not shy to shoot the three at all. I forget who it was, but late in the game, the kid at the baseline, he just kind of took a step back and then faded away and threw up a three, and it rattled in. So they were just feeling really froggy yesterday. They were tough to beat. I thought Kentucky needed to take more chances to close that game out. They went a little too much inside out at the end of the game, I felt. But give St. Peter's all the credit in the world. And we've seen this happen before. We've seen Lehigh knock off Duke 15-2 seed. We've seen Missouri lose. We've seen Georgetown lose. So this is just part of the madness. And look, I had Kentucky going far, but I took St. Peter's to cover the spread. So I'm living in both worlds with this result from yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, it's a tough one. I mean, how much did your bracket get destroyed in that one, Devin, with Kentucky?
So one of them's pretty much in the trash can. Thankfully, it's an underdog pool. But I had the Wildcats, cutting down the nets, and that is certainly not happening. So thankfully, in true Devin fashion, I am a volume shooter. So that is about one of 15 brackets that's down, and we've still got 14 more to tally. So although it was a bit of a devastating loss there, I think that most people are in that same boat. I have Purdue beating Kentucky in almost every other bracket. So it's not going to affect me a grand scheme as much. But that one single bracket is crumple it up, throw it in the trash can, move on.
I see that the underdogs went 4-12 straight up yesterday. So it's pretty amazing to think that of the 4 underdogs that won straight up, one was a 15 seed St. Peter's against Kentucky. What I found interesting too is I'm pretty high on the efficiency ratios. Murray State has the second highest entering this tournament. And I saw that they were matched up against Kentucky. Then they got Purdue, potentially going into the Sweet 16 if they were to both get that far. And I'm sitting there thinking, as I'm filling out my brackets, like, there's no way I'm taking the Racers to go this far. I mean, that's, I love the efficiency ratios, but I'd be crazy to put Murray State in my Elite Eight. Well, the path has certainly opened up for that. So it should be interesting to see this bracket going forward, this region of the bracket.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to these games today. I've got Ohio State in every bracket. I think Lady Jean's sauce has dried up, and I'm really hoping that the Buckeyes can come correct and be given it is they are the higher seed 7-10 game, right? They're the underdogs. I've got them on 3 of my books plus 1.5. So that to me is a gift. I'm taking that all day. I might buy a point on that, get them to 2.5, but I like a money line straight up. So in those games now, like I'm starting to see these regions open up, and I think there's, as you've mentioned, Murray State, Purdue, it's looking much better for them. North Carolina looked phenomenal yesterday. I took them over Baylor in a few brackets, so that'll be interesting if North Carolina is going to decide to show up. And they're going to be the team, kind of the sleeper team that they knock off Baylor. Sky's the limit there as well. So I'm really interested to see, obviously, how the rest of this first round plays out. And then I think we're in for some big upsets in that round of 32.
Just to hit on the Ohio State game, Devin, because it starts in a few minutes. I'm with you on this one point that Ohio State was a 2 seed last year. They lost to Oral Roberts. Everyone remembers that. That team remembers that. And also, they had some bad losses towards the end of the season. Now you're getting them in a pick'em spot against a team from the Missouri Valley. And it always goes back to that old argument, who's better, the top team in a mid-major or the 4th or 5th best team in a major conference. But I think Ohio State's got a lot to play for in this game. And also, Loyola Chicago, it's been a few years since they've been in the Final Four. It seems like they were in it last year. I think the Buckeyes, this is a big spot for them.
100%. And I mentioned this yesterday, after the Providence game. I think that game got cut to 3 at some point, and Providence didn't seem rattled at all. They play a lot of close games. It was St. Patrick's Day. Loved Cooley's statement about, I guess, it's good to be lucky on St. Patrick's Day. Genius. But also, I saw a poise about those teams that have been battle tested yesterday, outside of Kentucky, of course. And I think that's what we're going to see today. Ohio State has an absolute gauntlet of a schedule. And I do believe that feeling, that sting of that loss last year will play a major factor today. And I think we see Ohio State come out and win this game pretty handily.
Well, the other one, too, I want to get to on that same kind of point, Devin, is tonight, that Davidson-Michigan State game.
Ooh.
That Davidson, who got bounced in the Atlantic 10 final by Richmond, who we saw beat Iowa yesterday. And they finally, Iowa finally got shut down offensively. But Davidson, we know they've been there before. I mean, it was years ago with Steph Curry, but they're always a quality team out of the Atlantic 10. Michigan State is just so all over the place. You don't know what you're going to get from them. Davidson, if they win, they would potentially play Duke in the next round. The game is in South Carolina, so more of a home court advantage for Davidson as opposed to Michigan State. What do you think about that game?
Flip a coin, right? It all comes down to who I believe to be the only South Korean NCAA basketball player in the entire nation. I believe that to be true. I don't know if it's true for sure. But there is very similar. I got to shout out my man, Seth Lockard, for doing the storyline research here. There's 2 big storylines here that I see in this game, right? Obviously, a potential Michigan State Duke round 2 matchup is enticing. So we kind of deserve that as fans, but then also there are eerie similarities between that Davidson Steph Curry team and this team. And if they get hot and they can, they shoot the lights out, I think this game could get away from Michigan State quickly, and they do not play well from behind. So I feel like this is going to be a game I'm going to be watching to bet live. And if Michigan State looks like they don't have it, I could see Davidson running away with this one. Now, double-edged sword here. If Davidson goes cold from behind the arc and Michigan State's dominating the post, then, this game, it will be a seesaw. But I don't see this game finishing closely. I think the winner will pull away at some point. 8 minutes left in the second, and we'll see this high singles, potentially double-digit finish.
I see there's 2 11 seeds here that I want to talk about. One is Virginia Tech. Now, I know a lot of people are worried about Purdue going far because they feel Virginia Tech might pull an Oregon State last year. Maybe Richmond is doing a better job of that currently than Virginia Tech is. And then the other 11 seed is Notre Dame, and they have a pretty good efficiency rating. My big issue at Notre Dame with the upset win here is they just came off an overtime win.
Double.
They have to travel. So is fatigue an issue for Notre Dame? Of those 11 seeds, do you like either of them winning and advancing into the round of 32?
I don't. I've been off Notre Dame all season. I didn't see that Rutgers game going the way that it did. Obviously, in retrospect, game goes to double overtime, crosses midnight. It's St. Patrick's Day. Notre Dame probably should have connected the dots there. Kind of felt like an idiot for not firing on the live money line there when they were down 3 in the second overtime. But literal last name is Mulligan. Again, that one's on me. I got to take full blame there. But I don't love. First of all, I love Texas today. I love Texas. Again, as I've mentioned with Lady Jean, okay, I'm not saying she's my arch rival, but it's close. I think the luck's run out there in Virginia Tech. I think Texas wins that game handily, and I see the same. I see the same result. Alabama's gonna put a beating on Notre Dame. One line I do like there though is the over. I will say both those teams will score. I think it's sitting somewhere around 144.5, or it could be 154. I forget what I was looking at.
Alabama Notre Dame is 152.
152. Okay, yeah. I love the over there. It was Purdue and Yale's the other over game I like. I think that's at 144.5. Both of those overs I love, but yeah, I like the 6 seeds moving on today.
Well, the overs are 10-6 in the first round so far, so you got that going for you. And then I know Purdue and Alabama have terrible defenses, so
brutal
points scored.
Yeah, and they can both shoot well, and I think we're going to see a really quick pace. Alabama's going to want to spread them out. They're going to want to use their length, their athleticism. We're going to see a lot of buckets in transition off turnovers. I like Alabama's chances to make a little mini run here. If that team is playing to its capability, they're going to be very tough.
Well, and also, too, Alabama beat 3 of the Final 4 teams from last year this season. They were all over the place, Alabama, it felt like.
Hit or miss. And sometimes that's what it takes in this tournament, right? It's like it's just the right time, the right place, the right energy, everything clicks, and that 6 next to your name instantly evaporates. So I'm actually looking. I don't love Texas going deep here, but I'm looking for Alabama to make a little run here.
Yeah, I want to agree with you on one thing, Devin, that you said before. I don't want to disparage Sister Jean, but I don't love her. Everyone's like, she's a good luck charm. They had some breaks that year, Loyola Chicago. Let's just put that one out there. It wasn't because of her. No,
it wasn't because of her. And honestly, might catch some heat for this. Was she 105?
She's creeping up there.
Good life, right? Let's take the W's that she's given us. Let's not put too much pressure on her, right? She's old.
102.
Okay?
She's 102.
102. She's old, right? This one's kind of on the basketball team and not on the 102-year-old woman. And I like Ohio State as a better basketball team.
Just to put things in perspective, Devin, she graduated high school in 1937.
That's not true. Oh, no. Oh, hey, well, you want to know what? With the advances in medical technology, I guess that's good news for all of us, right? It's not out of the question that I could be sitting in the stands at UMass, in 100 years. Hopefully that is the case. Also, because of UMass, I have been fading Richmond so hard because I just think the A10 stinks. And I have just hemorrhaged units on fading Richmond, and I don't know if I can do it anymore. It turns out the A10 is decent basketball, and I'm here for it. I have to correct the error of my ways.
What do you think about that Richmond-Providence matchup tomorrow in Buffalo? You talk about Providence, really no respect, all this other stuff against South Dakota State. Now they're laying 2.5, 3 to this Richmond team who, again, ran the table in the A10 tournament. They were not going to get it unless they got the automatic berth. They shock Iowa. Now you get Providence again. You think Providence again is disrespected?
Yeah, I mean, disrespected, I don't know. When you win that many close games, it's going to come with the territory, right? And you rather win those close games than lose them. So I don't know if they're necessarily disrespected, but I'll tell you who's telling them that they are is Cooley. He's hyping them up. He's putting that chip on their shoulder. And this is going to be two of those teams that feel like they've been disrespected. I mean, I know I'm not the only one yesterday that was saying I was going to win this game by 25. So Richmond came out and, shut half the nation down, at least, probably 75% of it. And I think tomorrow we're going to see Providence, just play that, grind it out. You have to come correct. You have to show up on the defensive end every single time because we're not going away. And I'll be interested to see if Richmond has 40 minutes or 40 minutes plus of really hard basketball in them, because this run has got to be taking a toll. I mean, I don't know where the gas tank is with Richmond, looking like it could be infinite, but at some point this has got to catch up to them. What is it now? I think it's going to be their 6th game in 9 days, 10 days. That's a lot of basketball.
And Providence, too, has been disrespected all year. I mean, if you were to take their name away and just keep their record and even the conference they play, and you say, okay, you have a 25-5 Big East team, they're probably going to get a top 3 seed easy. They're a 4 seed. So I'm sure the disrespect card is definitely being played by Cooley to that group. And it's added motivation. And look, I think everyone had South Dakota State. Not I say everyone, but most people had South Dakota State as an upset alert. I think Cooley used that. They had a good season. And look, just because we look at rankings and seeds and all that, I mean, look at the record and look at the conference they played in. Providence was legit this year. And now they have a pretty easier, look, I would rather play Richmond than Iowa. I'm sure Providence would rather play Richmond than Iowa. So I don't think they have any problem with the upset that Iowa suffered. So I think it's safe to say Providence in the Sweet 16, if you took that, more kudos to you, because I don't know a ton of people who had Providence getting out of the first round, let alone winning 2 games in this tournament. It's looking like they're going to do that.
Out here in the Northeast, it is more common than I had suspected, but a lot of people are flying high in the Friars.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to lie. I can't pass up 150 to 1 odds when I see it. So your boy put a little fractal unit on the Friars winning the whole thing.
Nice.
100%.
Now, what about right next door or close next door, UConn, and them losing to New Mexico State last night? What do you think about that?
Called that one, actually. Had that in all my brackets. I've actually got New Mexico State beating Arkansas in the next game. They were just a really bad matchup for UConn. UConn had not won many close games all year. They do not do well with that pace. And when their half-court offense isn't firing efficiently, they're not going to win those kind of games. It was a really bad matchup. They got a bad draw there, but I don't know. I didn't see this UConn team going deep in this tournament, no matter who they had. I think most teams that made it this far are a bad matchup for this UConn team. They are what we thought they were. Who said? An NFL coach said that, right?
That was Denny Green.
Yeah.
Crown the rap.
Exactly. Cue that, because UConn is who we thought they were.
Now, what about this match? Another one tomorrow. What are your thoughts on this one, Devin? North Carolina and Baylor. And you mentioned Carolina before. They're just all over the place. They run K out of Duke in that final home game for him. And they won 1 game in the ACC tournament against Virginia, then lost to Virginia Tech. But just absolutely thrashing Marquette yesterday. And Baylor, they cruised yesterday. That was fine. But what do you think here? You think Carolina's got a shot to knock off Baylor here in this 1-8 game?
Absolutely. And again, I've got to throw another shout out at my man, Seth Lockard, because I've been tailing this kid now for a couple months. He loves UNC. And because of, his opinion on this game, but then also just I'm not a believer in Baylor this year. I don't know. I'd have to check the stats here. I don't know the last time somebody repeated. I don't know the last time a team won and then made it to the Final Four. So I didn't like Baylor's chances anyways. Like, I can't think of one off the top of my head. Watch a lot of college basketball. So it just seems like Baylor is the weakest one seed to me. And although Mattress Mac did put $1 million on the winner of this tournament coming out of that region, I've got UNC in my Final Four in a couple brackets. And if they play, again, to their capabilities, which is what this whole tournament's about, right? You're not going to win games playing 80%. You have to be playing 195 to 100% of your potential to beat these other teams, because everybody is so hungry. Everybody wants it so bad. And I think those teams that have suffered, bad losses in the last, let's call it, year in general, they're going to be a little bit more hungry. And I don't see Baylor being that team this year. I don't see them having a point in their season where they looked back and they said, we've been disrespected. What's the locker room? What's the chalkboard material for Baylor right now? I don't see it. UNC comes into this game as an underdog. They just blew out Marquette. They're shooting the lights out. It's going to be a game for sure.
My thing with Baylor too, I have two things that worry me with them. Three, I guess, if you count the bracket they're playing in. I think that bottom left is without a doubt the most difficult bracket of all the regions. Those 1 through 4, even though Kentucky just lost, that's a tough 1 through 4. If you have UCLA, Baylor, Purdue, and Kentucky, it's tough picking a team out of those 4 to reach the Final Four. So it's just a tough bracket in general. Injuries have riddled Baylor all year. They're kind of lingering entering this tournament. They're not on full display, but they are there. And then they don't have Davion Mitchell. And they looked good in game 1, but it's Norfolk State. Last year, Baylor was carried by Davion Mitchell, more so on the defensive end than the offensive end. But they don't have Davion Mitchell this year, which I've actually brought up in past Daily Insiders, that they're going to need someone to step up at a certain point. Now, they have the players capable of it, but we need to see it. So there's some issues I have with Baylor. With that said, though, look, UCLA didn't look great against Akron. If they can somehow get by UNC, they should have a pretty ideal road to the Final Four.
This is their major roadblock, I think. I think this UNC game, and they know that. I mean, we're not Baylor's defending national champions for a reason, right? They know, they're very well coached. They know what it takes to win in high pressure situations. But I kind of got to go with my gut and with the people that have been winning me units here. And all signs point to a UNC money line bet for your boy here. So if you do want to tail, that's what.
I think we lost your mic there for a second, Devin. You were there.
We got him.
We got you?
Yep.
I just went on a fire rant about UNC money.
Oh, we heard that.
Basically, what that was, Devin, that was Forrest Gump telling his story in Vietnam, and they were cutting off the mics and no one had any idea what they said.
Yeah. Or it was the universe telling you guys not to bet on UNC. It was like, let me save the listeners here and mute this kid before people start throwing their cash in the toilet. No, I do. I like
today.
Ohio State's I like an Ohio State TCU parlay.
Wow, TCU.
I like Ohio State TCU, the wagon parlay. Give me that all day. I also threw a teaser up of Ohio State and TCU as well. So those are the games that I'm on pretty heavy. And I guess it's time to find out, because I believe this Ohio State game is underway.
Yeah, it is underway. We had to wake up Sister Jean. We got her out of the Piccadilly cafeteria. She had her pudding, and she's all set now.
Tapioca.
Tom, I know you're curious about some of the Oscars with Devin.
Yeah, so I want to get your take on the Oscars market. It's kind of unique, and it goes into reality shows a little bit. Is this a market that you have interest betting on? And if so, would you like to see other reality shows be legally able to bet on. So like in Europe, you can legally bet on Dancing on Ice or Britain's Got Talent or the Great British Bake Off. Like these are shows people follow and can bet on. When Game of Thrones was a show, you could bet on it overseas legally. So I guess I want to ask, like, what is your interest in this market, since you're kind of like, you know, you have your foot in both worlds with this, and the Oscars is basically sports betting with reality and entertainment. So what is your thoughts on all of this with Oscars betting and a market that you'd like to see maybe greenlit in the future?
100%. My oldest brother is a movie fanatic. He's got the blueprint on the Oscars, and like 5 years in a row, he runs an Oscar pool. We all do it. He is a wizard. So months ago, I've got futures on Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, Supporting. What is it? The music's in a movie. The
Sound song,
best score.
Best score. He knows all that stuff, and he knows the path to Best Picture. So I am familiar with, you know, gambling on things that aren't sports. Shocker. But yeah, I love it. And I wish we could gamble on shows like The Challenge, Survivor, even Big Brother, right? Because that one would be a little easier because it's live.
Yeah.
But the issue with betting on reality in America, in my experience, is that it's very commonly leaked. There's times where I've been eliminated from a show. You're put into a hotel to wait for your final exit interview. Once you do your final exit interview, you get your phone back. And I've got messages from people being like, "Hey, so sorry you lost." I'm like, "Bro, it happened 36 hours ago. Like, how do you know?"
Yeah.
And it's on there. I hate to say, I'm not going to tell anybody where, because I wish it didn't exist. But it does. And there are people out there that like spoilers, and it's almost impossible to contain them. So I think that would probably be a tough sell to Vegas, considering that it's an event that happened previously. Now, I do think there is a massive market, and I've been wanting to talk to somebody about this, for live competition reality shows that you could gamble on, because I get to watch these eliminations live, or these challenges live, and I make odds for them. I've mentioned this, I think, here before. It's exhilarating. It's the only entertainment we have. So I think I'm probably a little bit more into it than maybe somebody else would. But you get, let's just say, Fessy and Nelson in that hall brawl, right? If you can take odds on that, that's electric. Yeah. If you're watching.
Oh, no, you got muted.
I got muted. I'm back in action. Yeah, I would love to see it happen. I don't know how it could happen. I'm all in. If someone can figure that out, call your guy, because I'm in.
How long do you take the cell phones away for?
Oh, we don't have them while we're filming. Absolutely nothing. No TV, no radio, no phones, no computers. I had to write. So I needed to transfer some money from one account to another because I'd been gone for so long. My rent comes out of a different account, so I needed to move some money. I had to write a note, looked like a ransom note. I had to write a note with a crayon. And the production assistant took a photo of it and sent it to my mom, who then thought because I'm in Croatia, right? Is like, has he been kidnapped? Is this real? It was like, please transfer like thousands of dollars to this crayon, like, signed your son. I have terrible handwriting. I can't spell. It's like, uppercase, lowercase. It was all backwards letters. Terrible. So needless to say, it happened, but we have absolutely no technology. That is one of the big mental hurdles of these shows is, you can be big and strong. Where are you up top? Because you sleeping in a bunk bed next to someone that's protein farting on you, and you don't have your cell phone. You're not watching any movies. There's no downtime, there's no like occupying your downtime. You're working out or you're talking about the game. So that is, I've said this regularly. The challenge specifically is 70% mental for that reason.
So you're familiar with the Oscars this year, all the movies this year, and some of the odds. And
I actually I heard you saying we got no value on the front runner of Best Picture, but I've already placed that bet.
What's your best picture bet?
It's whoever the favorite is there. What's it called?
Power of the Dog.
Yeah, which I saw and was awesome. But I think you had some good points, which is if you're watching that movie as a critic, you love it. If you're watching it as just someone that watches movies, I believe, and I think you were saying that it doesn't jump off as best picture to you. Am I paraphrasing that correctly?
Yeah, that's basically it. But you got to understand the people voting on this are critics, so there is a balance. I just think the value is elsewhere. Kevin, do you have that graphic? I want to ask.
Here, I'm going to put this up, Devin. Take a look at this.
Of these, so these were the 5 best bets I saw when odds opened and I watched all the movies. These are what the odds are now, like today.
Wow.
5, like obviously the top 2, there's no more value. That's long gone. But maybe is there any of those 5 that stand out to you? I don't know if you've seen any of these movies or anything, but maybe if not these 5, is there anything else that stood out to you? Like you saw Power of the Dog. Is there another movie that you liked? Like
I did. Yeah, I did. I saw Coda, and it was solid. I wouldn't. I mean, plus 2,000 to plus 500. You can't argue with that, right? But I guess this is the nature of the beast. It's like if you get in on these things early, that's where the value is. So I don't know necessarily that I have like a sleeper or like a hot Oscars take on gambling. I could bring my book up here and run through the futures that I have, but this is very much, I'm a big truster in people that know more than me. Like I am the guy that asks for directions. I have no pride in that sense. So I'm pretty much like, hey, Brendan, who do you like? And I'm firing without doing much research. So I watch a lot of movies, but I don't watch them as a critic. I watch them as someone that's, having a couple beers and wants to watch a cool movie. So I guess my viewership is different. But I thought Coda was cool. I wouldn't be surprised.
What was your favorite movie of the year that you watched? It doesn't even have to be one that was nominated.
Yeah, I mean, Power of the Dogs, I loved it. I thought it was great. And it was a little slow, but the storyline was phenomenal. The acting was phenomenal. So that was my favorite movie of the year. But like my favorite movies, like one of my all-time favorite movies is Extraction. I don't know if you've seen it. I like pointless action movies. In Extraction, I think the guy, first of all, the guy's last name is Rake, and then he kills somebody with a rake. Like I like dumb stuff like that. So he probably killed 150 men in the process of saving a kidnapped boy. So like that's where I'm at, But Extraction's not winning any Oscars.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's if you give me an underdog hero with maybe a sad background, give me Jason Bourne all day, right? I'm in. That's just how I am.
Well, Devin, thank you again for the time. And again, welcome to Vegas Insider as a contributor here on the Daily Insider. And tell us again what you got going on in MTV and what else is going on with you.
So I do need to be a little careful about how much juice I spill here. But first of all, very happy to be have a bi-weekly residency here on Daily Insider. Looking forward to it. And thank you, Kevin, for having me. I appreciate it. Love the show. Thom, thanks for being here. And as far as what's next for me in the real world, we've definitely got a few projects in the pipeline that people are not going to want to miss. I've been dabbling in a little bit of music. You can imagine how that's going to go. So I'm kind of all over the map here. We're sports gambling. We're making tunes. We got a couple reality projects in the mix. You can follow me on Instagram, MTV_Devin, on Twitter, MTV Devin Walker. I'm posting all my bets, and win or lose, not deleting any tweets. They will be screen grabbed. I know this. So, what you see is what you get, and they're all plus odds. I will say that. I'm not putting out any minus 140s, boys.
Kevin, you're muted now.
Okay,
Kevin.
I think.
Kevin, you're muted now too.
Damn it. You know what happened? I was coughing. That's
The
why
only
I
one.
back on. Let me try this again now. Take two. We're all muting each other. I think that's the problem.
Okay. In with you two.
Devin, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks. The Final Four will be set by then. So we're looking forward to breaking that down with you.
And
Thanks,
teaser, Kev. My birthday is on April 6th. I believe the final is, April 5th, maybe?
The 4th, because the 7th is the opening day of baseball is a Thursday.
Okay. Well, anyways, we're in the realm, okay? So I will be in rare form. Can't wait to be back. Thanks for breaking this all down, boys. Go Buckeyes!
All right, let's see. They're up by 2 right now, so
let's go!
Keep it going. Thanks,
Sorry,
Devin.
Sister Jean. See you later, boys. Thanks.
See ya. Take it easy. There is Devin Walker, and like talking to him.
Yeah.
So were you surprised about his Oscar knowledge?
Yeah, a little. I love his take though. Like that's something I didn't realize with reality shows is leaking, and actually that kind of falls into WWE pro wrestling market betting in Europe as well. And I wonder if you get leaks with political betting over in Europe as well. So these unique markets, they're called special markets sometimes. That is somewhat of a concern. I think it's a legit concern why maybe these certain markets won't be greenlit in America. I mean, look, this is a very immature market still in America. There's still a lot of learning and growing to do. So I think it will take some time. But with that said, I'm still very surprised that now 4 states have greenlit Oscars betting so quickly since sports betting has become legal in America. So I thought that was a really interesting and good take he had on that situation.
Well, and also too, it's the whole, I think, live thing as far as like these shows that things that are taped, you just don't have any trust in anybody. That's the biggest issue.
Yeah, with scripts, because scripts can get leaked. So it's tough.
So anything really quick, anything new on the Oscars front?
I think we
had the graphic up, but anything new or no?
No, I think I think we hit this year's Oscars. The winning bets, I think, were Chastain at 5-1 and Costner at 3-1. Anything after that, you are kind of playing from behind this year. So I think if you hit on those early, look, I mentioned it at the beginning, right before Oscar nominations came out. This is a market you have to get on early because the odds do change quickly. So if you listened and you got on the odds quickly, I know a few people who did. Congrats to you. If not, you can maybe take some of the other bets and cross your fingers. But I don't think Encano is going to get beat. I think Attica has a good chance, but again, it's wishful thinking at 10-1. So I think if you miss Chastain, you miss Kotzer. I think you missed your best bets. Coda would be my next suggestion at 5-1. After that, I might just pass on everything.
All right. That sounds good. So we're done. That's it. Let's watch some basketball.
Great minds.
So, all right. Our thanks to Devin Walker for joining us. For Thom Cunningham, I am Kevin Rogers. We'll talk to you again on Monday. And as always, best of luck with your bets.